All right, today we're going to be multiplying whole numbers by 1/10 and 1/100th. But first, let's remember what multiplication is for a second here. It's repeated addition, or it's saying how many groups of something you have. For example, 3 times 2, you could think about it like 3 groups of 2. Like if I bought 3 packages of yarn that each had 2 balls of yarn in them for my cat, there's Puck, that'd be 3 groups of 2, which makes 6. But you could think about it like 3 groups of 2, or I could make a different problem where it'd be 2 groups of 3. It's repeated addition. So let's remember that going into multiplying whole numbers by 1/10 and 1/100th. So first let's look at 4 times 1/10 right here. We could think about it like this is 4 groups of 1/10. I have 4 1/10s. That's what it means. So there's 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10. There's 4 of them. So 4 times 1/10 is 4/10. Another way to think about it is like saying I have 4 dimes, which are the same as a tenth. So it'd be 40 cents, which is another way to say 4/10. If it's hundredths, you can think about it like 5 times 100th is the same as saying you have 5 groups of 100th in each of them. So if you add them together, that would be 5 hundredths. You could also think about this like it's saying that you have 5 pennies. 5 pennies together would be the same as 500th. They'd be 5 cents. So you can remember that multiplication is repeated addition, and it's like saying you have 4 groups of 1/10 or 5 groups of 100th. This works really well when you have a whole number times a decimal. You can think about it like that's how many groups I have of that decimal. Let's keep going here. Let me delete my squiggle. Uh, Okay, another thing you can think about is 1/10 can also be written as a fraction. Oh, hey, that's also 1/10. That's the same as a division problem. 1 divided by 10. So actually, when you multiply by 1/10, it's the same thing as dividing by 10. That's right. Multiplying by 1/10 is the same as dividing by 10. And guess what? 1/100th is the same as dividing by 100. What? What are you saying, Ms. Wolf? But we already know how to divide things by 10 and 100. I know you do. Which, yes, this does mean that you already know how to multiply by 1/10 and 100th because you already know how to divide by 10 and how to divide by 100. So let's take a look. So we've already tried out 4 times 1/10, but I want to prove to you that this is true, okay? We did the picture, and we saw that when we had 4 times 1/10, it was the same as 4/10. Well, let's check it out. If we think about it like 1/10 as a fraction, it's also like saying I have 4 groups of 1/10. That'd be 4/10. That's the same thing. What if we do divide by 10? Well, let's see here. If we put 4 in the box, I will prove it to you. Okay, we put a decimal here because 10 can't go into 4. Put a 0 here. 10 can go into 40 4 times. And then we wouldn't have a remainder. Bring the decimal up. Oh my gosh, it was 4/10. She was right. I proved it. But you could also think about it like we know when you divide by 10, you just move the decimal over one spot. So, oh look, it'd be 4/10. This is the way you're going to want to do it, is just move the decimal over a spot. I just wanted to prove it to you here that I'm not just making this up. Multiplying by 1/10 is the same as dividing by 10. All right, let's keep going. How about with something harder, like 54 times 1/10? You might be like, Miss Wolf, I don't want to draw 54 groups. You don't need to, because remember, it's the same as dividing by 10. 54 times 1/10 is the same as 54 divided by 10, which we know, just move the decimal one spot to the left. And that will make it one place value smaller or 10 times smaller. So it'd be 5 and 4/10, which if we think about it for a second, if you have 54 dimes, okay, 50 dimes would be $5. And then you'd still have 4 more dimes. That'd be 40 cents. $5.40. Ba-ba! Okay, so basically, when you multiply by a tenth, it's the same thing as dividing by 10. And when you multiply by 100th, it's the same as dividing by 100. Let's try it again. How about if we do 54 times 100th? Well, that's the same as 54 divided by 100. You could also think about this like 54 over 100. That's the same as 54 divided by 100. We know that'd be 54 hundredths. But let's check it out over here with our trick with moving the decimal. The invisible decimal's here. We move it 2 spots. Ba-boom! That's 54 hundredths. So basically, when you multiply by 1/10, it's the same as dividing by 10. And when you multiply by 100th, it's the same as dividing by 100. So basically what we're doing today is something you already know, it just looks different. You got this! I'll see you in class.